Breaking a world record is one thing, but breaking two in the same race, that's exactly what Jakob Ingebrigtsen just did, smashing the indoor mile and 1,500 m world records in a jaw-dropping performance in Leuven. He didn't just beat the old marks, he obliterated them. So the big question is, how much faster can he go? If you've been following middle distance running, you know Jakob Ingebrigtsen is a name that keeps popping up in the record books. But what he did in Leuven, France on February 13th, 2025 was something else entirely. The Norwegian superstar lined up at the meeting House de France Pas de Calais Trophée EDF, an annual indoor meet known for producing fast times. Yet no one quite expected the kind of performance Ingebrigtsen was about to deliver. The race started like many others, strategic, controlled, and fast. But this was no ordinary competition. This was a record-breaking kind of night. Ingebrigtsen wasn't just there to win, he was chasing history. And history, as it turns out, was more than happy to be rewritten. Just 5 days earlier, American runner Yared Nuguse had set a new indoor mile world record, clocking 3:46.63 at the Millrose Games in New York. It was a stunning achievement, and for a moment it felt like the new standard in middle distance running. But Ingebrigtsen had other plans. When he crossed the finish line in Leuven, the clock read 3:45.14, over a second faster than Nuguse's record. Just like that, the fastest indoor mile in history belonged to him.
Loves this track as well. Three wins previously here in Leuven over different distances,
But that wasn't all. Since the mile, 1609 meters, includes the 1,500 meter split, Ingebrigtsen also ended up smashing another world record along the way. At the 1,500 meter mark, he hit 3:29.63, breaking his own previous indoor record of 3:30.60 from this same meet in 2022. 2 world records in one race. That's the kind of performance that leaves people speechless. So how did he do it? A big factor was the high-tech pacing system used in many elite races today. Bright world record pace lights lined the track, showing exactly where he needed to be at every moment. Add to that the help of pacemakers, who took him through the early stages of the race at blistering speeds. And you have the perfect recipe for a record-breaking run. But of course, it wasn't just the technology. It was all about Ingebrigtsen himself. The way he kept his cool, followed the pace, and then exploded in the final 200 meters to leave the world in awe. The moment he kicked past the pacing lights, it was clear he was going for something big. The last stretch was pure power, legs pumping, arms driving, the finish line rushing toward him. And when he crossed it, there was no need to check the clock to know something special had just happened. Everyone in the arena knew. The numbers confirmed it seconds later. A new world record. Scratch that. 2 new world records. You could see it on Ingebrigtsen's face after the race. Pure joy mixed with exhaustion. He had just done something that no one else in history had ever done before. And when asked about it, he kept things simple. "It feels amazing," he said, according to World Athletics. "This is what happens in Leuven. I'm a very happy man. You have to be focused for the whole race. It's tough, but it's worth it." That last part really sums it up. The level of focus it takes to run a race like this is insane. It's not just about being physically fast, it's about staying locked in mentally, knowing exactly when to push, when to hold back, and when to unleash everything you've got. That's what separates the greats from the legends. And on this night, Ingebrigtsen moved one step closer to legendary status. The reaction from the athletic world was a mix of shock, excitement, and admiration. Just 5 days earlier, everyone had been talking about Yared Nuguse's record. Now, that record was gone. It's not often you see a world record fall twice in a single week, especially in an event as competitive as the mile. Experts, commentators, and fans couldn't believe how quickly Ingebrigtsen had raised the bar. It wasn't just about the times though, it was about the way he ran. He didn't just scrape by with a new record, he obliterated it. He made it look easy. That kind of dominance raises a big question. Is Jakob Ingebrigtsen on his way to becoming the greatest middle distance runner of all time? Let's break it down. He's already an Olympic champion in the 1500 m, winning gold at Tokyo 2020 when he was just 20 years old. He's been dominating European and global competitions for years, and now he holds the world record in both the indoor 1500 m and indoor mile. That's not just impressive, it's historic.
Athletes that want to come here and run.
I think that was exactly the answer for the meet organisers. There were just so many men that won.
When you compare his trajectory to some of the greatest middle distance runners in history, guys like Hicham El Guerrouj, Sebastian Coe, and Steve Cram, he's right on track to be considered one of the best ever. But what makes Ingebrigtsen even more exciting is that he's still only in his early 20s. He has plenty of prime years ahead, which means we're likely going to see even faster times in the near future. What's next for him? The big target has to be Paris 2024. Winning another Olympic gold medal in the 1500 m would cement his place as one of the sport's all-time greats. Beyond that, he has a shot at more records, maybe even breaking the outdoor 1500 m and mile records, which are among the longest standing and most legendary marks in track and field. And of course, there's the showdown everyone wants to see. Jakob Ingebrigtsen versus Yared Nuguse in a head-to-head battle. We already saw how quickly Ingebrigtsen snatched the record from Nuguse this time. But what happens when they face off on the track together? That's the kind of race that could go down in history. At the end of the day, what we saw in Leuven was more than just a couple of records falling. It was a statement. Ingebrigtsen isn't just here to win races, he's here to rewrite the entire record book. And based on what we just witnessed, this might only be the beginning. For now though, let's just take a moment to appreciate what we saw. A runner at the peak of his powers, pushing the limits of human performance and making history in the process. We truly have never seen anything like this before. Middle distance running isn't what it used to be. If you go back a few decades, breaking records was rare, and when it happened, it felt almost untouchable for years. But today, we're seeing records fall more frequently, and that's not just because athletes are getting faster. It's because the entire sport is evolving. Let's start with technology. The shoes runners wear today are lighter, more responsive, and packed with carbon fiber plates that help with energy return. Then, there are pacing innovations like LED lights on the track, which let runners see exactly where they need to be to stay on world record pace. It's a game changer. Instead of relying purely on feel, athletes can use real-time feedback to push themselves to new limits. Training methods have also improved dramatically. Runners are fine-tuning every aspect of their performance. Altitude training, strength work, recovery science, and even mental conditioning are all at an elite level now. Athletes like Jakob Ingebrigtsen aren't just running fast because they're talented. They're running fast because they're training smarter than ever before. But the real reason we're seeing such rapid progress, the competition is getting stronger. Just look at Yared Nuguse. He broke the indoor mile world record 1 week before Ingebrigtsen took it down again. That's what happens when you have multiple world-class athletes pushing each other to be better. Nuguse's success forced Ingebrigtsen to go even harder, and it won't stop here. With so many rising stars in the middle distance events, the records we just saw fall in Leuven might not last long. It's an exciting time for the sport. The combination of better technology, smarter training, and fierce competition is making middle distance running faster and more unpredictable than ever. If you love track and field, you're witnessing a golden era right now. So what does this mean for the upcoming seasons? Well, for one, the Paris 2024 Olympics legacy events are about to get even more interesting. Ingebrigtsen is already the Olympic champion in the 1500 m, and after breaking these records indoors, he's looking stronger than ever heading into outdoor competitions. The stage is set for epic showdowns between him, Yared Nuguse, and other rising stars in the 1500 m and mile events. The biggest question is, who will break the next record? It's easy to assume Ingebrigtsen will keep dominating, but with someone like Nuguse improving so rapidly, you never know. The beauty of track and field is that no record is safe. And in this era of hyper-competitive middle distance running, every race feels like it could be historic. Beyond that, we have Milano Cortina 2026 on the horizon. Now that's a Winter Olympics, so we won't see middle distance running there, but it's still part of the bigger Olympic cycle. For runners like Ingebrigtsen, the focus will be on the World Championships and the build-up to LA 2028. Every performance from now until then is part of a larger journey towards cementing his legacy.
1500 meters that resulted in a 3:32. I mean, that's ridiculous. But
what's clear is that middle distance running has never been more exciting. Records are falling, rivalries are heating up, and every race feels like a battle for history. The next few seasons, they're going to be wild. Jakob Ingebrigtsen was just 20 years old when he won Olympic gold in the 1500m at Tokyo 2020. It was a stunning performance. He not only won, but he did it in Olympic record time, 3:28.32, taking down one of the strongest fields in history. It was a moment that signaled a new era in middle distance running. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.